Right, so it's time for round one. I've won the die roll, but I don't think I do want to play first. My deck is pretty slow. So I'm going to go with no. Okay. And the question is, do I want to mulligan? Well, this looks pretty nice to me, so I'm thinking probably not. We've got the Frilled Oculus to start, and then one more land gives us Thrashing Moss Dog. And if we find a black, Haunter, which is excellent. So my opponent leads off with a Guildgate. Ah, good, right, well, that's our black sorted out. Gyre Sage, off to a fast start. Right, so I'm quite keen to go and find a swamp here. I think the sooner that we can get our Haunter and Gorgon down, the better, really. We don't know much about our opponent's plan yet, but Gyre Sage is always worrying. It can mean big things early, and that makes me want the Gorgon. Battering Krasis. Okay. Well, in some ways it's almost good for us that he's attacking with that. Right, so Void Wielder will be nice later. But first we need to get some solid defence down. And the chances are, of course, that that Krasis will evolve before attacking, so we still won't be able to block it. It's a pretty high probability, in fact, that he will drop something else which is large enough that the Moss Dog can't block it either. We will see. Oh no, mercifully not. Okay. That could have been a lot worse. So we're taking quite a bit of damage here, but that's to be expected with a start like that. Not much we can do other than play the creatures we have the mana for and hope that we have time to stabilise. At some point here, of course, I will chump block with the Gatecreeper Vine. Just have to hope that he doesn't have anything which can remove the Moss Dog before it gets to trade with something. So that'd be quite nasty. If the Battering Krasis becomes large, then that could be a problem, because I really want to be using the Void Wielder on the Gyre Sage and having the Moss Dog trade with the Battering Krasis. And after that happens, I'm sort of semi-stable. Then I can get the Haunter down, start thinking about attacking. Gutter Snipe. Okay, well that's good news for me. Very weak card in this context. Okay, so he appears to be more of a kind of rush deck, which is very nice for me, in that I'm about to stabilise the ground really quite a lot. So obviously I'll just block with the Moss Dog there, that's not even close. Right, so in fact, His board is now weak enough that I could even consider dropping the Gorgon first. If I bounce the Gyre Sage, does he have any attacks? Well, yes, he sort of does. He could attack with everything. So yeah, I think I like the idea here of dropping the Gorgon first. I think that's probably a little bit safer for me. Because the chances are that will leave him with no good attacks. Oof, he's stealing my Gorgon. That's not nice. So that is a situation where it would have been better to have the Void Wielder. But this is fine. All this means is chump blocks, right? So that has cost him a card, so we can afford to sacrifice a card, surviving this. So obviously that blocks the Gorgon, that goes without saying. And it doesn't really matter what the Oculus blocks, it's going to be stopping 3 damage either way. So let's just arbitrarily block the Sage. Right, so that's horrible because we're in burn range, but we're alive. The question from here is, am I better off? Yeah, I mean, you see, I'm going to be on, even with the Void Wielder, I'm going to be on 1 here. So that's actually kind of nasty. So yeah, I think Void Wielder is a marginally better play than Haunter here, although there isn't much in it. Or do I prefer... Actually, it's worth thinking about the possibility of Esperia's Skywatch. Because whilst on paper it's just worse, it might successfully deter all his attacks on the basis that the Gutter Snipe can't get past it. So that gives me 2 fully viable blockers. So I think I like it very slightly better here. Now obviously that Gutter Snipe is just going to kill us in a minute, but if I have time, the Corozda Gorgon could theoretically get rid of it. I scavenge the Thrashing Moss Dog from my graveyard and then use those counters in the following turn. It's very slow. Oof, my goodness. Okay, so here he's just killed us. He has turn burn, aimed it at our face, and the Gutter Snipe finishes us off. Ouch. So, sideboarding. We need a plan. He's very aggressive. So, early game things are good. We don't, unfortunately, have much against what he's doing. The basic problem here is we could side in the Unflinching Courage, which is clearly good against this strategy in some sense. But it's in a colour which is difficult for us to find, so we're not going to find it promptly and put the game out of reach. We might just be left with it stranded in our hand. It could make the problem worse, not better. I can afford to side out Last Thoughts, because I think I'm just winning the long game against him anyway. And so into that slot I'm going to put Mizium's Skin. It helps against Traitorous Instinct, it helps against Turn Burn, and I think that in itself is enough reason. So, let's go.